think that you need to constantly track all of your calories and macros in order to lose weight, but you are a busy mum in your 40s and you want to lose weight, tone up, get your ideal body, actually be able to get out of those comfies that you've been wearing for a few years now that just hide your body, and you're avoiding the mirror and you don't want to anymore, but you also have tried tracking before, or maybe you've heard that tracking is the way. Maybe you've tried it, it doesn't work for you. You're finding putting everything into an app and weighing all of your food really, really challenging because it's time consuming. You also are wondering how to eat out and how do you track that? And this is the thing with tracking for busy mums, okay? My program Reignite is made for busy mums. All of my clients are mums. I am a mum myself, I'm 42 years old, and I have been a personal trainer now for almost 12 years. I have done cuts, I've done bulks, I did all that stuff before I had children. I have tracked and tracked and tracked, and now I've got kids. Now, when I want to lose weight or get in shape, maybe I'm prepping for a photo shoot, or maybe I have spent a bit of time putting on some weight whilst I've been focusing on more muscle build. And then just now, I have lost 5 kilos in the past 10 weeks. And I used a little bit of tracking, but I did not religiously track. And you do not need to do that either. Now, yes, of course, you need to understand what is in your food. You need to make sure that you're eating enough of the right types of foods, but in a way that is also going to create a calorie deficit for your fat loss. But I have now worked with over 200 mums online over the past almost 7 years, and I do not give them tracking to do consistently straight off the bat. We may use it as a short-term tool just to make sure they know what is in their food and we know the amounts that they are eating, so we can make sure we are definitely in that deficit. But long-term, you're not going to use tracking. So to actually get your weight loss result, I do not recommend long-term tracking. I think it can also create a whole lot of other issues like obsession with food. You know, you're like, okay, but I need to weigh everything and track it, otherwise I can't have it. And then you worry that you're having too much. And really, all you need is a framework. And I'm going to tell you a couple of the methods that we use in my Reignite program and tell you how to do them so you can start using them also straight away now to start losing weight and actually energize you. And, you know, stop this kind of like mindset block that can be created with long-term tracking. Because what I find also is like when people are tracking, they're like, okay, I'm good when I'm tracking, I'm making all my food. But then something happens inevitably as a mom. Like, life is unpredictable. Like, your child gets sick, you get sick, work blows up, or maybe you spontaneously go out for dinner one night and you're like, okay, but I don't know how to track this. And then you go out and maybe have a little bit more than planned because you feel like the shackles of tracking has come off. And then the next day you're like, oh, well, I've blown that, so things can slide. There's so many things, there's so many reasons why tracking can be really, really helpful. And I'm not against tracking. I'm just against it as a long-term tool. And as I've said, like, it can create a few other issues. So ultimately, yes, we want to find out what's in our food. It's really good to eyeball also like certain amounts. Like, I'll get my clients maybe, you know, regular foods that they're eating. We will measure them out. And with the framework, they kind of know approximately how much of regular foods they're having that they need to have. But we'll weigh it once, we'll eyeball it, and then we know kind of like approximately how much that amount is. You know, food labels anyway are around 20% off what they say on them. You know, it's not an exact science anyway. So we only need to know like approximate amounts. And then, you know, if somebody is having a plateau or something like that, then maybe we will come back to it and we'll do it for 2 or 3 days just to make sure, you know, like, right, okay, actually I've forgotten how much that amount of chicken is, or that amount of peanut butter, for example. We come back to it, we're like, okay, got it, and then we can not track again and keep cracking on. So my main method that I use for not tracking in my Reignite program, where I help busy mums in their 40s and beyond get their ideal bodies without it taking over their entire life and without them feeling like they have to be some sort of bodybuilder and weighing out like grains of rice and things like that. So we use the 3-2 method. Now, I absolutely love this method. It's basically that you're going to have 3 meals and 2 snacks a day. And some people are like, oh my God, I've heard snacking's really bad. You know, you don't have to have snacks, but having worked with so many mums, I know their lifestyle. I am a mum myself. Things can change like that. we need to be prepared. And being prepared and planning is one of the best things you can do. I know people are like, oh my God, I don't want to do that. But to get your ideal body, and actually, like, planning takes out guesswork, okay? And it actually saves you time, and it can save you money with food as well in the long run. So planning and preparation is key. You don't have to plan and prep everything and have like everything in little Tupperware boxes like stacked up like we see like influencers of bodybuilders. You don't have to do that. But especially planning things like your proteins, for example, or just actually writing out a meal plan can be really, really helpful. It just takes out guesswork, and guesswork takes energy. So we're saving energy, and as mums, we need to save as much energy as we can. So the 3-2 method, we're going to focus on 3 meals and 2 snacks a day. Now, with the meals, these are going to be our main intake of energy. The reason why I like snacks, and I usually strategically have my clients have a mid-morning snack and a mid-afternoon snack when they start off with me, at least. Okay, these are just small little snacks that are going to bridge the gap between meals. Now, I always say to my clients, you don't have to have these. If you're not hungry and you're not in need of a snack, you don't need to have that snack. But especially at the beginning, when we're changing what my clients are eating, because a lot of the time my clients are coming to me, they're skipping meals. Even if you are tracking, it doesn't necessarily mean you're eating enough of the right types of foods. So people might be tracking and still using things like low volume foods, low protein foods, low fiber foods, and they are just not going to fill you up and sustain your energy. And what we want to do is get you in a place where you're in a deficit, but your energy is supported and you feel good. This is the thing. You can lose weight and feel good, and that's where we want you to be. We don't want you to be miserable, starving all the time, feeling over restrictive, hating it because you're just not going to stick to it. So with the 3-2 method, we focus on whole foods, protein and fiber. Yes, putting together as much food as you possibly can yourself so that you know what's in it, but you can also build meals from food you're getting from the supermarket. You can also eat out at restaurants, and in really we help our clients through that, because it's a really important part of staying on track and being sustainable is being able to go out and socialize and do all of these things whilst also getting results. So with the 3-2 method, you've got 3 meals and then the 2 snacks. Now, the snacks, as I said, you don't need to have them. And sometimes I'll say to my clients, you don't need to have them, but have them ready. Make them portable, something you can put in your bag, like, for example, a beef stick, or maybe it's some berries with some nuts, hummus, crudités, yogurt, berries, biltong, things like that. Having the snacks ready and available just means that if your life changes, which as mums, our lives change a lot, and we are like, oh my God, that's changed last minute. I always think like nothing's ever done until it's done with mum life. Like you can't ever assume that anything is definitely going to happen until it has happened. So having these snacks ready to go, it's like, okay, so maybe your child's really young and you go out and you're like, right, I'm going to come back for lunch. So you pop a couple of snacks or like a small snack in your pram or whatever in your car, you go out, and then for some reason or another, suddenly you're not back in time for lunch, you're absolutely ravenous, and you've got your planned snacks. Okay, so you didn't need to have the snacks, but because your life has changed and they were readily available to you there, you're having those snacks instead of going to like Starbucks and buying like a blueberry muffin. Nothing wrong with the blueberry muffin, but if you're trying to lose weight, very high in calories, very high in sugar, it's going to affect your energy. It's not the most ideal food. It can be planned in as part of an overall plan, but we want to avoid situations as mums where you're just grabbing whatever is available. Usually it's, from, like as I said, Starbucks, or it's from like a service station, and it's not going to support your energy and it's not going to support your deficit. So having your 3 meals planned with strategic snacks. Now, this is the 3-2 method. Okay, we stick to mostly whole foods, but we do plan in, a little bit of what you fancy. We always use the 80-20 rule. The afternoon snack for mums, I find, is the most key snack. And for me personally as well, it's when I definitely need something. It's that time of day when, if you do pick your kids up from school, or maybe you've been working and they're in a late club or something, you get home, it's like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, you're going to have dinner in the evening, maybe you're going to sit down with your partner, have dinner then. We need something, okay? It's a very standard time to have a bit of an energy slump, even if you've had like the rest of your day on point and you've had a high protein and fiber breakfast to support your energy later into the day. That time of day, I always just feel like you're going to be at risk of like hoovering off your kids' plates or picking a little bit of whatever is around. But if you've got your planned strategic snack, then you can just have that. Now, usually what I'll do from 3-2, if somebody's nicely keeping on losing weight with that, we'll just leave them on the 3-2. But then we might move into a 3-1 method where we cut out that morning snack and go straight from breakfast to lunch, and we just have that afternoon snack, and you're shaving off 100, maybe 200 calories from taking out that snack. It's going to look different for everybody. So these are what I call food frameworks, and they are absolutely like one of the foundations to my Reignite program, because what you eat as a mum when you want to get your ideal body, and anyway, just for like energy, being able to get up in the morning, sleeping well, not feeling sluggish, all of this stuff is so important so you can feel good every day and enjoy life. This is the thing, like if you are starving and you are low energy and you're worried about what you're eating all the time, and you're like, I can't have that, you feel so restricted, that's no way to live. You can lose weight, absolutely, whilst feeling fueled, and actually most of the time my clients are never hungry. Okay, maybe towards the end when they are quite lean and we've got that last little bit to go, they may get a bit hungry before their meals, but that is also normal. And I think as humans, food is just so readily available to us these days. We are so lucky for that, but also it can make things like weight loss very difficult because food is just there, and a lot of it is quite energy dense, like high calorie for a small volume of food. So a lot of us have got emotional attachments to food and food noise because there's just food everywhere, and that is a separate thing. Actually, I'm not going to go off on that tangent, but the food frameworks are absolutely the foundation of what we do in Reignite, and they just work so well because you know what you're eating, you plan it ahead, you've got your little strategic snacks for if things get changed, and it's just much more sustainable and something you can stick to more long term than tracking all of the time. As I said, we may use tracking for a few days, but you don't need to do it long term, and you're not going to do it forever. So rather lose weight in the way that you're going to actually build into your lifestyle long term than use tracking, and then when you finish you're like, oh, now I'm not tracking, now I don't really know what to do, I'm not sure. So tracking is only a short-term tool. And as I said, in Reignite, we support our clients to lose weight, to tone up, to feel better, to reconnect with who they are outside of mum or any other labels that they've got, because they feel good in themselves and they are prioritizing themselves. And this is what I absolutely love to help my clients with in my Reignite program. So food frameworks instead of long-term tracking. I hope this has helped you. And if you want support and maybe you've tracked before or you've trying to starve yourself and things just aren't working for you, then please do get in touch about our one-to-one Reignite program. You can DM me the word Reignite on Instagram or get in touch via any of our other channels and message me the word Reignite or info, and let's talk about helping you get your ideal body even as a really busy mum in her 40s.